branches are pliable, and we're going to shut that one, and generally healthy, that's a good sign. When they dry out and they're crackly and they can break real easily and you're seeing discoloration and needles falling over, that's your big warning sign that it's probably time to move that tree out of the house. So we have a small ignition source, roughly a 2.5, 3-inch fire that we're going to ignite. We'll do that at the base of the branches here. We'll see how quickly, if at all, that fire grows for this well-watered tree. And then in about 20, 30 minutes, we're going to repeat that with a dry tree. And measurements that we're taking here in our lab, we have a mass balance at the base of this to get a time-resolved measurement of mass loss rate, which gives us a sense of fire size. We also have a small heat flux gauge over there to give us an idea of the energy coming off this tree at a distance. And we've taken some measurements before to see how much moisture it's held, and some clippings today so that by tomorrow we'll know the moisture content of this one. Any questions before we get going on your side for what we're showing, for what you need? That's all fair game? All right, let's go through safety. Biggest thing keeping us safe right now is this big old exhaust hood. All the products of combustion from here will be pulled out of the building. We're okay, and we've cleared out all the things nearby this tree that might ignite. So if you compare this space to maybe your typical living room where a large number of those fires are happening, we're not right up next to a couch or a bookcase or something else that may ignite. We have a lot of clear space, and all that heat and all those toxic products are going to leave the building. I'll move these lamps because they're not being friendly to us. For all of you, this is a fairly full room. Unlike a smaller test where something goes wrong, we'll try to put that one out. Especially for our dry tree, if something happens, we're just going to calmly walk out of these two doors. So I'm going to split the room at this line between these two cameras. All you folks just slide on out of that door. Everyone here, we're going to go up the steps that way. And then for that, if I can have you behind the stair railing so you don't have to try to squeeze through cameras and step over things awkwardly, that's probably a safer way to go.
Are you able to just kind of touch on what people need to look for?
Sure. So we also have a safety sheet shared by the National Fire Protection Association. We can share that. We can post that to websites if they like. But generally, when you first hit your tree, if you have a natural one, cut the base of it, put it right into water once you get it home, and continuously make sure it's well watered. So don't go like, oh, 3-4 days later, I'm sure it's fine. Check every day, make sure it's water at the base of that tree, and then look for the branches themselves. If you can move them and they're bending and that's all healthy. If they're still dark green the way that you got them, if you're not seeing a pool of bristles in the ground, those are good signs. The one we'll bring in a sec. You'll see it, you'll hear it, you'll feel it. All of those are signs that it's drying out.
And then you mentioned the artificial tree earlier. Can you just kind of emphasize, you said they don't burn as much, but they do have some type of toxic chemicals?
Yeah, so I don't want to speak to every single tree because they're made out of different plastics generally. And what we can do is look at our statistics and say, of the tree fires we have each year, 2 to 1, they are natural trees. And if you look at the trees that we have in our homes, roughly 15% of them are artificial. So that's already moving you towards most of those fires are natural tree fires. I don't want to give the illusion that immediately all artificial trees are immediately safe. We have had history of some of those burning in Annapolis is the one I'll keep pointing to because that was our largest fire, took down a building for a few months out of service. But depending on the age of it and where it was made, it's not immediately clear this tree is safe or not. You can look at a UL rating on there, so same as you get an extension cord and it says, hey, this is past this test and you're okay. That test under standard conditions for ignition says that your artificial tree will not give you a fire size larger than 100 kilowatts, which is just a unit of energy release that we get there. The larger, drier trees that we're seeing here can be on the order of 2,000 to 3,000 kilowatts, so substantially larger, and that's just for a 6-7 foot tall tree. We've done some much larger ones in the NIST Fire Research Lab where it's hangar-size space for the large atrium, those size trees. Those are substantially larger fires too.
Thank you.
All right. So safety-wise, we're all okay, right? We're going to be calm. We're going to walk our way out. That'll be okay. This is tree number 124, whatever it is. We've never had that issue. We should be all right. I'm going to shut these lights so they don't flicker during anything. And we were going to tap the balance, right? We're going to remember that this time.
Yes.
All right. And can you just move this out of the way so you're not going around it with all my things? And there's no magic to this ignition source. We're not trying to say that this specific fire igniting it is better or worse. We're just getting something that's a decent sized fire to try to ignite both of our trees in the same way. If we're looking at causes for these fires, for the most part, it's a nearby heating source or an electrical problem. So if you got old frayed wires or you're overloading it, don't put that on your tree, especially if it's dry. Don't keep space heater nearby. Obviously, don't have open flames and candles. These are common sense things that we can do, but unfortunately, every year we do have fire deaths associated with this and huge fire losses that come from these relatively small number of fires. So I'll light this up. Small pan fire directly below the lowest branches. We'll step out of the hood, and if and when we get some amount of smoking, we'll turn the hood on there. I haven't filled it up yet. So I'll bring it over right after. Yeah. Thanks. Start this camera going. Recording. Alright, and do you want a countdown or data's already going? And they're both the same. Alright, so I'll tap that right after I ignite the pan. Cool. Alright, all set, camera, audio, blah, blah, blah. That. Test that. Now is it going?
Yes.
Hey, I'll take this in. Thank you. Flame, ignition. Bit of smoke if you want to get that That was hope. We're gonna let this cool down just a bit, and we'll swap it out for a nice dry tree, and that'll flare. Yeah. Battery or just not being friendly in terms of where it's at?
No, it's fine where it was at, but it's battery on this one.
Got it. I gotta get close. Just going up, you can pull it straight forward and you should be fine. Cool. Alright, I will work on unscrewing this one and then pulling it out over the next one.
Yeah.
Do you mind? Actually, do you mind about? Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I'm not complaining. I am. Been out in the cold all morning. I am. I'm complaining.
This is better than being outside.
Yeah.
That is true.
That is nice.
Gives a little fire
next one I'll get you covered. You'll be okay.
I hope so. Do you think the trees could, like, if it's really dry, just like spontaneously catch on fire, or does it have to be something that makes
Generally, no. You can have different things that will do that, but usually you want not quite as porous as this. That's not. I'm just gonna say no.
Okay.
You need a really special case of something else maybe doing that, and then getting this going. But the tree itself,
It's not gonna just, okay, that's good.
it's bone dry, and so when we're looking, we do this for our safety demos. We do this for our fire dynamics classes, so students can see, oh, it's that size fire. What does that feel like? You got it?
Good.
Right. It's gonna smack into this, so if you can go straight up in the hood and then tilt it under, we'll be okay. So we get a lot out of this for fire safety, for teaching, we do an international competition to predict the size of these fires. But one of the things that we'll see for like wildfire research when we're looking at trees or shrubs or the duff or anything that's there is moisture content really drives that ignitability. So I won't expect it to spontaneously combust, but relatively smaller ignition